The Diddy private investigators are being hired by celebrities. I think that there's a very high-profile celebrity who just filed a lawsuit against the Diddy lawyer of 120 victims, who is sending private investigators to question content creators who make content about celebrities' connections to Diddy. I find it to be way too much of a coincidence that we have a high-profile John Doe who filed a lawsuit against Tony Buzbee saying that he extorted him when he sent him a demand letter to settle before they moved forward with a lawsuit that involved minors. John Doe, who is a high-profile individual that we don't know who it is repped by Quinn Emanuel. And we know a very prominent lawyer who is partnered with this law firm who would be Alex Spiro. And we know Alex Spiro as Jay-Z's lawyer. Mala, who was visited by these Diddy private investigators yesterday, uploaded a YouTube talking more about what happened with these private investigators. She explains how they started off asking her if she was getting paid to talk about Diddy's connections with other celebrities. And if she was getting paid, they were willing to pay her money to basically give the opposite of what she was already saying on her platform. And she said she started asking them questions like, who sent you here? Who do you work for? And they wouldn't say. And then she said, okay, well then what's the name of your LLC? And they said, we don't have an LLC. We get paid by our person directly. She went on to describe what these private investigators looked like and sounded like, and she said the one had a very strong New York accent that stood out to her. And she said she kept grilling them like, who sent you here? Why are you here? And why are you trying to pay me to say something totally different than what I'm saying on this platform? She said she told these private investigators that it seemed like they were here on false pretenses since they were asking about if she was paid and saying they wanted to pay her instead of investigating something like they said because they're private investigators. And they would promptly end the conversation and were like, well, if you haven't been paid, that's the only thing we want to know. You will never see or hear from us again. We are retired officers that live in New York.
And they just essentially said, oh, you're not going to hear anything more from us. We're investigators. We're former law enforcement. You know, apparently they're from New York. And now that they've gotten this information from me, I'm never going to see them again. And that's it.
And I'm telling you right now, this high-profile individual who filed this lawsuit against Tony Buzbee just screwed up big time. Tony Buzbee clapped back fast to this lawsuit that was filed yesterday. He said, I've been sued in Los Angeles, even though it's a New York attorney, but where this person lives has to be in Los Angeles, this high-profile person, in a ditch attempt to stop me from revealing names in public lawsuits. It won't work. The suit against me was filed by a powerful John Doe. Here is my full statement. We will not allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence SA survivors. He goes on to say that the lawsuit that was filed against him is without legal merit and it's laughable because he sent a standard demand letter that claimed no dollar amount and no threats. This is where it gets good. I am a U.S. Marine. I won't be silenced or intimidated. Neither will my client, since our professional efforts at resolution obviously have failed. We will instead disclose the demand letters we sent at the time we filed the lawsuit. That means that Tony Buzbee is going forward with filing this lawsuit against this high-profile individual, which means that their name will be revealed to the public. This is too much of a coincidence for this all to be happening at the same time. You're telling me after a high-profile person that we don't know who filed a lawsuit with a New York attorney that we know very well, even though they're from LA, and also these private investigators allege that they are from New York, also are coming out to ask people only one question. And the one question they want to know are content creators being paid by a source to talk about celebrities' connections with Diddy? They're saying, if you are being paid, we are willing to pay you for who is paying you to say all of this stuff. And not only that, we also want you to push the narrative a whole different way. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.